behind that. And also another thing that they're actually very interested in is another department that is holding this press conference, which is the organizational department of the Communist Party. For that, we can roughly compare it with the HR or human resource department of a company, because it's mainly in charge of the ups and downs and also the promotions and the sacking of the Chinese officials who are also serving as the Communist Party members. Of course, when we talk about the assessment of officials, the most important issue would be about their KPI, their key performance index, just like in a company. In the past few years, it's all about economy, social stability. But this time, when President Xi Jinping is stressing about a balanced development of China, we're expecting more factors to be included in that, particularly including environmental protection, as well as the happiness of ordinary people. And we're going to see how they're going to prioritize the different factors in that. And I think reporters definitely ask questions like that, and we're going to see how officials will be answering that.
Han Peng in Beijing, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, on a work report of the 18th CPC Central Committee to the 19th CPC National Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out that the party has gained overwhelming momentum in its fight against corruption and is determined to secure a sweeping victory over the greatest threat to the party.
当前反腐败斗争形势
Currently, the fight against corruption remains grave and complex. We must remain as firm as a rock in our resolve to build on the overwhelming momentum and secure a sweeping victory. We will continue to see that there are no no-go zones, no ground is left unturned, and no tolerance is shown for corruption. We will impose tight constraints, maintain a tough stance, and a long-term deterrence, punish both those who take bribes and those who offer them, and prevent interest groups from arising within the party.
Well, for more on China's anti-corruption campaign, we're joined in the studio by Professor Wong Chengguang from Tsinghua University and Edward Lehman, Senior Foreign Fellow with the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Thank you both very much indeed for joining me this morning. Let's start with you, Professor Wong, if I may. So 5 years have passed now since the anti-corruption campaign commenced. How do you think it's gone?
Well, I think it has been going very well, very impressively. Everyone can see that the great achievement has been achieved in the past 5 years. I think a number of high-ranking officials who are corrupted has been investigated and indicted, and some of them have been sentenced for jail. So I think it's really very impressive achievements which has been accomplished within the 5 years. And secondly, we can see tightening up the restrictive system for the power, so which is more profound achievement, I think.
Professor Lehman, of course, some Western media would look at something like this anti-corruption campaign and say, okay, this is China's way of ostracizing and removing people that don't agree with them. What's your take on that?
Sure, you know, I think that that's the same old song that they can go to time and time again. If you don't have actual boots on the ground and you don't really understand the intricacies and the difficult nature of which it is to govern 1.4 billion persons. So it's easy to say and take a look at one aspect and say that that might be the goal. But the truth is that some very tough measures need to be taken. They have been taken by Xi Jinping since 2013, and there has been real progress made, and I think that they're going to double down in the next 5 years. I don't think it's going to be lightened up, and I've seen this over the years, and I think that this is a very good thing. I think Western media has it wrong. I'm not going to say it's fake news, but it's a news with a spin for sure.
Professor Wong, is it fake news?
Well, I totally agree with Mr. Lehman, and of course there are always some different opinions within the political area, that's for sure, but simply combine the different opinions with the anti-corruption campaign is totally, I think, a biased approach. And anti-corruption campaign targeting the corrupted officials, which is performed and exercised in accordance with law, so which is not well mixed up. with the political differences.
And the campaign, of course, is focused mainly on government officials, hasn't it? That's what it's been really about. But it has had a profound social impact too, hasn't it? What sort of social changes have you noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not only anti-corruption campaign concerning a few of the corrupted officials within the party or within the government, but also it has a great impact on the social at large, society at large, and to clear up the ego environment of the society, and also trying to set up the clear system within the law and within the party disciplinary sections. So I think this is really a profound impact on the society.
Anti-corruption campaigns aren't just something that China does, it's something that happens all over the world, isn't it? How does what China is doing compare to what happens in the West?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the differences are this. For example, I mean, the senior senator from New Jersey, for example, he's under indictment right now and facing trial for corruption charges. And that's an open court. What I think is different here is when you have the CCDI, which is this sort of star chamber that does not, where it is not completely accessed by everyone, that this makes it difficult for Western media to really understand. And I think that it's absolutely necessary to have an apparatus like CCDI because of the guanxi, or the relationships that these political officials would have, that they would influence the courts or they would influence the local situation. So certainly, yeah, in the West we have, I mean, I'm from Illinois, for goodness sakes, we've had 4 sitting governors, I think, that have gone to prison in my lifetime. So we're quite used to these type of corruption campaigns and them being effective, and you have to, it's kind of like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. Once you get done with it, you've got to start again from the very beginning. And I think corruption, in fighting it, is something that needs to go on a constant basis. We see it in Illinois, and it should be done here as well.
But it's about hearts and minds as well, isn't it? It's not just about punishing people that are doing something wrong.
But that's where I think that right, exactly, and I think that this has captured the hearts and minds of the public, in my opinion. I think that there's a genuine fear, and I mean, I myself have been out to Zhongnan High. You know, it's completely changed. You can't smoke cigarettes out there like you used to, and there's a whole different attitude. You know, just from an exterior viewpoint on what's happened. So I think it has been positive for those of us who've observed it firsthand.
I mean, I'm from the UK, and we've had problems over the years with what we refer to as sleaze. Yeah. Politicians who are up to no good, and it has a very detrimental effect on the way the public views the political system, doesn't it?
That's right. And I would like to point out, actually, in China, although there are some similar measures has been taken in terms of anti-corruption campaign, but nevertheless there is a particular phenomenon in China, which is that Communist Party is the leading party. Therefore, anti-corruption campaign really needs to focusing on the top officials, and also need to tighten up the party disciplinary system and targeting at those who are actually within the party and within the government, and they're taking the leading role, which is not really ordinary civil servants. They actually has more power. So that means anti-corruption campaign in China, although has been achieved a great achievement, but also I would like to see it's an uphill process.
Well, yes, exactly, because this has got to carry on for another 5-year term, hasn't it? I mean, do you think that we will see in the press conference that's coming up that the same emphasis on the anti-corruption campaign as we have in the past 5 years?
I do think so. And just to wait and see, I think anti-corruption campaign will be high on the agenda of the party and the government.
In what way do you think that the Chinese central government could further keep this momentum going? Because when you've had a policy in place for a considerable amount of time, it's very easy to lose the passion for it, to lose the momentum for it, and to sort of slip back into old ways. What do you think the party can do to keep this momentum going?
You know what I see? I mean, we're talking about anti-corruption, but what we're really, I think the focus is having the country be a rule of law country. So I think that the deception is talking about anti-corruption. I mean, that's a symptom, that's putting Band-Aid on cancer, that whatever the situation is. It's about rule of law. And so what I see is someone who's here on a day-to-day basis is that we're now relying on law as opposed to interpretations by party members, and this is how I think that the emphasis is going to be continued. So it's not going to be in the past. These anti-corruption drives were strike hard campaigns. They would last for several months and then they would be lowered down. I think what I see is different in this one is, number one is getting the military involved and taking a look at the military. There have been 330,000 people that have been dismissed in some way, shape, or form from the military. There have been high-ranking members in the military that have been looked at. But I also see that the continuation is really promotion of rule of law.
Professor Wong, why do you think it's so important for government officials on all levels to act responsibly and to act maturely and to behave themselves? Why is it so important, do you think?
Well, as I already mentioned, that the Communist Party is the leading party playing the significant role in the society, and also these high-ranking officials, and even at the middle level officials, they actually have a great power in their hands, and if there is no perfect system to control and restrict their power, that will be disaster for the people, for the society. So therefore, I think this is a very important task. And even though in the past 5 years, achievement, but also really need to be very important work.
Let's briefly have a look at some of the ways that China deals with these problems, how it actually goes about combating corruption. I mean, they've established inspection teams,
right,
setting up a conduct and discipline department at all levels, asking officials to make personal reports.
Right.
How do you view these measures?
I think these measures are very effective. Is just the first step, I would say, and these try to deal with the symptom of the disease of corruption. But more than that, we need to set up more system and to deal with the roots of the disease rather than just simply dealing with the symptom.
Yeah, Jeff, and I also just to follow on that is that, I mean, I think you and I come from common law countries. So common law countries, they have stare decisis, these judges make a decision, and rule of law happens. And as a result, I mean, it comes from the top down immediately. Here in the civil law system, it moves at a much slower pace. And so there has to be interpretations. And so that's where I think the disconnect happens and people get frustrated.
Okay, thank you. The conference is starting now, so thank you very much for that point, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Let's go to the press conference and see what's happening there. Sorry.
女士们、先生们、
Ladies and gentlemen,
媒体记者朋友们，
friends
大
in
家
the media,
上午好。
good morning.
中国共产党第19次
During
代表大会期间
the 19th
共安
National
排了
Congress of the
6场
CPC, we
中外
have
记者
altogether
招待会。
6 press
我呢是大会
conferences.
新闻发言
I'm
人、国务院新闻办公室副主任郭卫民。
Guo Weimin, spokesperson of the Congress
欢迎
and
大家
Deputy Director of the
出席
State Council Information
在新闻中
Office.
心举行的
Welcome
中外
to
记者
the
招待会。
press conference.
那么我和我们新闻发言人团组和
Our
大会的新闻中心
team
啊，
and the
会
press
为大家的
center
采
will
访
do
报道
our best
提供好服务。
to provide you with
今天啊
facilitations.
是记者招待会的第一
This
场
is。our very first
我
press
们邀请
conference.
了
We
中
have
共中央
with
纪律
us
检查委员会副书记、
Mr. Yang
检察部
Xiaodu,
部长、
Deputy Secretary of
国
Central
家
Commission
预
for
防腐
Discipline
败局局
Inspection,
长
Minister of
杨晓度
Supervision, and Head of National
和
Bureau
中
of
共中央
Corruption
组织部副
Prevention,
部长
and
徐
Mr.
同志
Qi Yu, Vice Minister
向大
of
家
the
介绍
Organization Department of the
加
CPC
强
Central Committee
党的建设
to
和
brief you
全面
on
从严治党的
strengthening
有
party
关情
building
况，
and
并回答
enforcing
大
full
家
and strict
关
party
心的问题。
self-governance. They will
下
also
面呢，
take
我
your
们先请
questions.
祁煜同志啊介
Now,
绍
first we'll
加
have
强
Mr.
党
Qi
的
Yu
建设的
to
有关
brief
情
you
况。
on
那么
strengthening
为了节
party
省时间，我
building.
是这么安排，就是发布人介绍的时候呢，用同声传
For the
然后
briefing
媒体
part,
提
we
问的
have
时候呢，我们用
simultaneous interpretation. In the Q&A session, questions will be translated consecutively and answers will be translated simultaneously. Please put on your earpieces. Now, Mr. Qi, you have the floor. It's my great pleasure to meet with you, friends from the press. Yesterday, the 19th CPC National Congress held its opening ceremony. General Secretary Xi Jinping delivered an important report during which he reviewed the historic changes in the party and country's endeavors over the past 5 years. General Secretary Xi pointed out that in the report that we have achieved remarkable outcomes in ensuring full and strict governance of the party. This is a high recognition of the progress in party building, including the organization work since the 18th Party Congress. Now, let me brief you on the party's organization work over the past 5 years. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core has incorporated enforcing strict party self-governance into the four-pronged comprehensive strategy and stepped up party's leadership and development in a comprehensive manner. The approach has shifted from a lax, weak, and slack one to one that is strict, stringent, and tough. This has brought about a historic, structural, and fundamental change. In the CPC's organization work, we have firmly followed General Secretary Xi Jinping's thoughts on party building and the requirement of improving party self-governance. We have focused on main responsibilities and tasks, stayed problem-oriented, and stressed the need to take up responsibility. Notable progress has been made in the following aspects. First, we stressed the importance of theoretical and political education, and the theoretical level of CPC members and their commitment to the party has risen significantly. We have organized CPC members to study and implement the guiding principles laid out in General Secretary Xi Jinping's series of addresses and new ideas, new thinking, and new strategies in governance, which has strengthened the confidence in the path of socialism with Chinese features, theories, system, and culture, the awareness of the need to maintain political integrity, think in big picture terms, follow the leadership core, and keep in alignment, and closely follow the Party Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core in terms of thinking, political stand, and action. We have also launched activities to see members act on the party's mass line and initiated a campaign for the observance of the 3 stricts and 3 earnests, and for all party members to have a solid understanding of the party constitution, party regulations, and related major policy addresses. Intra-party education has been expanded from the essential field to the vast number of party members and extended from concentrated education to regular education. The CPC members have experienced intensive party education, political education, and a number of long-standing problems within the party have been resolved. We have strengthened organization work and the leadership ability. There have been some positive changes. We have also carried out targeted and regular education and training to enhance officials' leadership ability and expertise. Over the past 5 years, nearly 100 million person times of officials at all levels have taken part in full-time training courses. Second, we have selected good officials for the party and the people and made important progress in building the ranks of key high-caliber officials. We have carefully implemented the standard for good officials in a new era, revised and promulgated regulations for the appointment of officials, refined the way officials are recommended democratically, improved the way they are elected on a competitive basis, improved the system for assessing the performance of officials, ensured that officials are not selected only based on votes, scores, GDP, and age, and established the correct approach to selecting and appointing officials. All this has made it possible for a large number of loyal, honest, and pragmatic officials with high expertise to become leading officials. We have also strengthened the leading and guiding role of party organizations and ensured that when an official is to be promoted, there must be strict examinations of his or her record, and the form of promotion must be signed by their superior to ensure incorruptibility and good sense of select discipline. During the recent election of new municipal county officials and township leaderships, over 9,300 officials were not promoted for failure to pass these reviews. We have established an officials selection and appointment mechanism whereby competent officials are promoted and incompetent ones are demoted. So far, we have, in accordance with these regulations, adjusted more than 22,000 officials at and above the county and division chief level. Following on the CCDI's inspection tours, we have sent teams to inspect the selection and appointment of officials in all provinces and ministries. In the recent elections of local leaders, we have given proper guidance, warned candidates what not to do, and tried to prevent malpractices. We also sent supervision teams to inspect the election process on a circuit basis to ensure sound conduct for the election of new leaders. Third, we have strengthened the governance of officials and improved the system of managing and supervising officials. We have worked to nip problems in the bud and prevent them from arising. We have conducted strict routine oversight. In recent years, organizational and personnel departments at all levels wrote to and admonished officials on over 600,000 occasions. We have established a sound system with Chinese features whereby officials report their personal affairs with a focus on their family matters and property that are closely linked to their exercise of power. We have made sure that the results of these reviews are put to good use and problems identified are investigated. So far, 1.25 million reviews have been conducted nationwide and 125,000 officials have been punished. We have focused on addressing salient issues such as overstaffing of officials, the so-called naked officials, that is, officials with their family members living abroad, and falsified files. We have regulated the business activities of the relatives of party and government officials and made milestone achievements. We have also given officials positive incentives and established a system that allows public servants below county level to be able to go up the career ladder through either promotion in post or rise in ranks. And this has benefited over 1 million public servants. Fourth, we have extended strict self-governance of the party to grassroots party organizations and increased the vitality of grassroots party organizations and party members. According to the general requirement of controlling oversize, optimizing structure, improving quality, and playing the due role, we have ensured strict procedure of new recruitment and the proper size and structure of party membership. Over the past 5 years, the number of party members has increased by 4.32 million with an annual growth rate of 1.2%, which is in line with our goal. Day-to-day education and management of party members has been strengthened, including organizing 3 meetings and 1 class. We have dealt with unqualified party members. Party building at the grassroots level has been promoted in a coordinated manner in different fields. We have steadily straightened out weak and lack grassroots party organizations, stressed the leadership role of grassroots party organizations in rural areas, and explored new ways for party building to steer grassroots governance. We have worked hard to address the issue of weak and marginalized party leadership and party building in SOEs and universities, and increased the coverage of party organizations in non-public business sectors and social organizations. As a result, there has been overall progress in enhancing grassroots party organizations. We have also strengthened poverty alleviation with party building and selected 195,000 officials to work in poor villages as first party secretary. In so doing, we have turned the party's political and organizational strength into driving force for development. We have initiated appraisal of municipal and county-level party secretaries of their performance in party building, and is gradually applying this practice to other government institutions, enterprises, and universities, so as to urge party organizations, especially party secretaries at various levels, to earnestly perform their duty of governing party affairs. We have also deepened institutional reform for the development of talents, to give more autonomy to employers of talents and remove obstacles for talent development, so as to fully bring out their ingenuity. By now, China's talent pool has reached 175 million people, up by 43.8% than 5 years ago. Talent's contribution to China's economic and social development has risen markedly. We have steadily advanced institutional reform for party building and basically finished the tasks laid out by the 18th CPC Central Committee. So those are my opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you. I now give the floor to Mr. Yang Xiaodu.
Friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my real pleasure to meet you here at this press conference. Yesterday, we celebrated the opening of the 19th Party Congress, and General Secretary Xi Jinping gave a report on behalf of the 18th Central Party Committee entitled "Secure a Decisive Victory in Building a Moderately Prosperous Society in All Respects and Strive for the Great Success of Socialism with Chinese Characteristics for a New Era." I believe you have all heard the report. The report indeed is encouraging for us all. And after the opening ceremony, there have been strong support reflected in the media reports to the report given by General Secretary Xi Jinping. The report has expounded on the work to strengthen full and strict self-governance of the party. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about what we've been achieved in this regard since the 18th Party Congress and the new requirements in this field as given by the 19th Party Congress. Remarkable outcomes have indeed been made in ensuring full and strict governance over the party, and the party has grown stronger in revolutionary tempering. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has stressed the importance of strengthening the party's self-governance for it to fulfill its historical responsibilities to the 1.3 billion Chinese people. Just as the Chinese saying goes, it takes a good blacksmith to make good steel. Ensuring full and strict governance over the party has been included into the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. The improvement of party conduct, upholding political integrity and fighting corruption have been taken to a new height. With strong resolve to improve the party conduct and strengthen discipline, we have realized historical transformation in our party building. First, we have combined efforts on ideological work and institution building to enhance the competence of the party. The intra-party political life has taken on a new look. The most defining feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics is the leadership of the CPC. We have carried out activities to implement the party's mass line, the campaigns with the theme of 3 stricts and 3 earnests. We have also organized the party members to learn party constitution regulations and related major policy addresses to meet party standards, and have raised the whole party's awareness to maintain political integrity, think in big picture terms, follow the leadership core, and keep in alignment. We've strengthened our confidence in the past theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We have attached fundamental importance to intra-party political activities, making sure the delivery of political and supervisory responsibilities at all levels. And we have imposed a strict party discipline and political rules and regulations. As a result, the intra-party political atmosphere and political ecosystem have been improved. Second, we have worked resolutely to implement the 8-point decision on improving the party and government conduct, which has triggered transformational improvement in the social atmosphere. The 18th Central Committee has been correcting the misconduct that worries the people most. It has made the 8-point decision to improve the party and government conduct. The political bureau of the 18th Central Committee has been leading by examples, and the whole party has made solid efforts. Many of the serious misconduct or erroneous tendencies have been corrected. Improving its conduct has therefore become a signature of the party, which has led to improvements in the overall social atmosphere and won strong support from the people. With the introduction of the 8-point decision to improve party and government conduct, much of the erroneous tendencies have been corrected. And also the CCTV and related media organizations have made a documentary to show the improvement of the party and government conduct. The main news media, microblogs, and the app of the CCTV and also the website of the CCDI have released the documentary and the related articles, which have been read by many people and watched by many people. Third, we have strengthened intra-party oversight and ensured and promoted the role of disciplinary inspections. At the central level, 12 rounds of inspections have been carried out to cover 277 party branches. Reviewing inspections were carried out in 16 provinces, regions, and cities, and random inspections in 4 central government departments. Therefore, for the first time, we have achieved the full coverage of inspections for central level departments during the term of the 18th Central Committee. We have also conducted inspection tours in party committees at grassroots levels. We have, by so doing, promoted the role of inspections in tackling both symptoms and root causes of corruption and misconduct. The Information Department of the CCDI, working with the CCTV, have also made a documentary to show the importance of inspections. 550 million audience has watched the documentary. It shows that people give strong support to inspections and they have full trust in our inspection efforts. By so doing, we have also solicited people's views about the party's conduct. It is a process of the people and party members working together to tackle the problem of corruption. Fourthly, we have enforced party discipline in all respects. We have set up 47 inspection teams to provincial and central level government departments, and we have conducted supervision over 139 party branches. And the CCDI has covered all central committee and central government bodies in its inspection. We have also strengthened the reform of the national supervisory system, and we have completed successfully pilot programs in Beijing, Shanxi, and Zhejiang. General Secretary Xi said yesterday that the work will be promoted nationwide. And fourthly, we have enforced the party discipline in all respects and have taken strong action to transform lax and weak governance over the party. We have ensured that the party discipline to be stricter and tougher than law, and we have exercised the 4 forms of oversight over discipline compliance to identify problems early and correct them while they are still nascent. The purpose is to prevent party members from making even small mistakes. We have therefore adopted a number of measures to correct problems when they are still small problems. The CPC party members should have advanced nature, so they must meet tougher moral standards than ordinary citizens. That is why we have believed that party discipline should be tougher than laws. Since people can voluntarily join the CPC, they, by so doing, should be subject to tougher moral standards. During the past 5 years, discipline inspection and supervision agencies have handled 2.674 million reported cases. 1.545 million cases of them have been filed, and punished 1.537 million party members with misconduct. 58,000 of them have been transferred to the judicial departments on suspicion of breaching laws or committing crimes. We have strengthened discipline and accountability. And as a result, the party members have become more earnest in obeying rules and disciplines, which are like high-voltage lines that must not be crossed. Fifthly, we have punished both high and low-ranking officials with acts of corruption. An overwhelming momentum has been formed and consolidated in our fight against corruption. We have tackled both political and economic corruption and handled a number of serious cases, including Zhou Yongkang, Bo Xilai, Guo Boxiong, Xu Caihou, Shen Zhencai, and Lin Jihua, who have committed serious violation of party disciplines and the country's laws. Altogether, we have investigated 440 party officials above ministerial or provincial level, including 43 members and alternate members of the 18th Central Committee, 9 members of the CCDI, over 8,900 officials at Director General levels, and 63,000 party officials at county or division level. We have spared no effort in tackling corruption at the people's doorstep, and in this connection, punished 278,000 party members or officials at grassroots levels. We have continued to track corrupt officials fleeing abroad and have brought back 3,453 of them. Of the 100 corrupt officials on the red notice, 48 have been brought back. We have produced an 8-episode documentary in this regard. Over 600 million people have watched the program. Our people and our party speak highly of our efforts to fight corruption. I believe the Central Committee, with General Secretary Xi Jinping at its core, has been making such an effort to fight corruption, and the biggest source of strength is the 1.3 billion Chinese people. Sixth, we have upheld rule-based governance over the party by setting up and improving the system of party rules and regulations. The Central Committee has made institution building as a part of comprehensively deepening reform. On the general basis of the party constitution, we have revised and promulgated over 90 rules within the party after constant exploration and review. The intra-party rules and the country's laws have been synergized so that rule-based governance over the party and law-based governance of the country reinforce each other. So, today our efforts to fight corruption is law-based and discipline-based. Over the past 5 years, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and through joint efforts of the whole party and the society, the intra-party political atmosphere and political ecosystem have been improved markedly. So has been the party's creativity, appeal, and effectiveness. The party's solidarity and unity has been reinforced, its engagement with the people greatly improved, and major progress has been made in enhancing the party's long-term governance capacity and self-purification ability. The revolutionary tempering has made the party even stronger, more pure, and full of vitality, providing strong political guarantee for the realization of the 2 centenary goals and the great renewal of the Chinese nation. To meet the 2 centenary goals and to realize the great renewal of the Chinese nation, it is essential that we have a strong core leadership of the CPC. That provides the basis for us to meet our great goals. The second part of my opening remarks is about earnestly implementing the guidance of the 19th Party Congress and ensuring full and strict self-governance of the party. For the party to rally the people and lead them in carrying out our great struggle, advancing our great cause and realizing our great dream, we must unwaveringly decisively uphold and improve party leadership and take forward the new great project of party building to make the party still stronger. The 19th Party Congress report has laid out the overall requirements, plans, and key tasks for party building in the new era. We will follow the guidance of the thought on and basic policy of socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. We will earnestly fulfill our duties under the party constitution and focus particularly on the following aspects. First, putting political party building first. We will uphold firmly the authority and centralized and unified leadership of the Central Committee, impose strict political rules and discipline to realize an all-round improvement of the political ecosystem. Second, carrying out study campaigns under the theme of remain true to our original aspiration and keep our mission firmly in mind to encourage all party members and officials to have a good command of the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era and hold dear our party's ideals, convictions, and purpose, and preserve the political character of communists. Third, working ceaselessly to improve party conduct and enforce party discipline. We will make continued efforts to implement the 8-point decision, fully strengthen the party's discipline, and make the most of the 4 forms of oversight over discipline compliance to strengthen the governance basis of the party with fine conduct and strict discipline. Fourth, in combating corruption, there is no no-go zones, no ground left unturned, nor tolerance. We will maintain a tough stance and the long-term deterrence to fight corruption, especially when it affects people's immediate interests. We will continue to track fugitives overseas and recover their illicit assets. We will strengthen deterrence so that officials do not be corrupt, strengthen the cage of institutions so that they are unable to be corrupt, and strengthen their vigilance so that they have no desire to commit corruption. With these, we will ensure a sweeping victory in our fight against corruption. Fifth, strengthening intra-party oversight and establishing and developing a system of supervision for the party and the country. We will follow the plan of the Central Committee in advancing the reform of national supervision system, fully leverage the role of inspections, and enhance the party's ability to purify, improve, and reform itself. This is my opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Secretary.
There we go. That was the press conference coming from the Great Hall of the People, running through a whole range of anti-corruption measures there. That was Qi Yu. Also, we were hearing from Yang Xiaodu setting out a tough stance. We were expecting a tough stance. We certainly got a tough stance. Let's go back to the studio to speak to Professor Wong Chengguang from Tsinghua University and Edward Lehman, who's a senior foreign fellow with the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Professor Wong, was that what you expected?
Yes. Of course. Well, number one, and we have heard all these achievements, and the large number of the officials, even some of them are high-ranking officials, has been investigated and indicted. And number two, we have heard already that the anti-corruption momentum will be kept and maintained on the systematic base. It's not just one movement and then left it forever, but it will be a continuous campaign, and within the party, within the government. And also we have heard that there will be a lot of new measures, and some such as further setting up the party disciplinary rules, and also making the party disciplinary rules and the law coordinated. And further, there will be some coordination of the party disciplinary committee with the governmental agencies and the judiciary as well. So I think there will be further movement for anti-corruption campaign by hearing all these the news report.
Edward Lehman, Yang Xiaodu there talked about the CPC determined to create a system in which its members dare not be corrupt, will not be corrupt, have no desire to be corrupt, and cannot be corrupted. Is that possible, do you think?
You know, I think it's a bit like Babe Ruth, when a great American baseball player, when he was pointing towards the outfield and saying he's going to hit a home run out there. I think you have to say that's the goal, that's the definition, that's the dream. And what I thought was a takeaway from me, which I thought was really interesting for our viewers and for the world, is they talked about the 7 or 8 part series that was produced actually by the government in order that people understand in a more practical way what's going on. It's one thing for lawyers and academics like Professor Wong and myself to take a look, see at this, but it's another thing to have this trickle down and understood by society. So I think, yes, they have to state that. I think that's where they want the definition to be, and it's a question of how do we get there.
There is a danger, possibly, that certain officials now are so frightened of being accused of being corrupt, because there is such a tough stance now, that it means that they're reluctant to go the extra mile in their job, perhaps, because they're very worried about being viewed by people as corrupt.
Right. This is certainly already something happened already, and also I recognize there is a kind of worry in some of the officials kind of afraid of doing any further work except just to do the basic things. I think this is for sure some problem we need to solve. So we could say that on one hand, tightening up the disciplinary rules and maintaining the anti-corruption momentum. At the other hand, there is also more system being set up and encouraging people to be innovative thinking and to do creative achievements, and also punishing those who just stay in the office without doing anything, which is non-performance action, which has also been warned by the Party Discipline Committee and the government. And the government officials, while they're in the office, they must do their job and diligently and creatively. On the other hand, they must follow the rules and the law to keep their performance strictly legal, and also keep themselves clean.
What do you make of that, Edward Lehman?
You know, I think it's like turning an aircraft carrier around. I mean, that's a little bit like what we're facing, which is government officials are being told how to behave, how to act, and how to move forward, and how to be progressive. And I think that the government is giving the direction, but I think that trying to turn that around, there's going to be this forward momentum in whatever we're doing. And so it's really easy, like I said, for the West to criticize, to say that this is some sort of vendetta or this is something really, really bad. To be honest with you, this is a very painful process that's been aired in the public. And to do that process means that they're really serious about reforms, and they're really serious about becoming a superpower. And I think the only way